We're already live, even though it doesn't show up on our screen yet. We've learned from trial and error that we are live. We're getting started just a little bit early. Well, not that early. It's 11:59, so we're going to be starting soon. Okay, this is working. Like that. All right. Today we have a really big show with artist Krista Machovina, The Power of a Made-Up Mind. The power of a made-up mind, doo-dah, doo-dah. All right. Is it waiting for it?
No, it just has like a different. All right.
It's working?
It's working. All right, we're going to record.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
We're ready.
We're ready.
Ed, say some nice things to people.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Happy Saturday.
Welcome to The Funniest Thing,
Yes.
where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes.
That's right.
I'm Darrell,
I'm Ed.
and we're broadcasting live from middle school studios in beautiful downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
Yes. Today's show, The Power of a Made-Up Mind.
Yeah.
With artist Krista Machovina. Once you make up your mind to proceed in the direction of your goal, it's as if you've hitched your wagon to the omnipotent energy of the universe working on your behalf. A made-up mind is simply a firm decision about your desire to have it be so. When this happens, it feels as if a shift has taken place in the time-space continuum, aligning all things in your favor. And here's the great news, folks. When you make up your mind to believe in the possibility of your desire becoming a reality, you are simply agreeing to accept what is already yours. Desire and destiny are synonymous. On this episode, Darrell and Ed discuss the power of a made-up mind and give examples of the coincidences that occur as a result. And during the second segment, artist Krista Machovina joins the show and shares how everything and everyone is on our side when our mind is made up. Today's reading will be Stop Trying and Trust. That will be by Joyce Kramer.
Now, are we going to thank our Patreon viewers?
Yes, thank you, Patreon viewers. God willing, nowadays you guys shouldn't be hearing any commercials. We believe we cleaned that up. Thanks to Rhonda Barnes reaching out. But thank you for contributing to the show to keep it commercial free and keep that good energy flowing, keep the show on or help keeping the show on the road. It's very, very helpful. If you're not on Patreon yet, patreon.com/funniest thing. Charlotte Coachman said, blessings to you, Darrell and Ed. We got some in our funniest thing P.O. Box 1312, Culver City, California 90232. We got some birthday cards this week from Terry Benowar, so thank you for thinking about us.
Yes, they weren't late. They were just an encore.
That's right. We
Of
love
our
an
birthday.
encore. We love an encore, so thank you. Let's see. Yeah, so that's about the. Oh, we can thank our engineer.
Oh, and you can send us emails.
Oh yeah, darrellanded@gmail.com or go to darrellanded.com and hit the contact form. And we love hearing from you.
Yeah.
We love hearing miracles from you. We did get you got an email from someone about your intuitive method class, right?
Just today.
Which
And
is
it's just-
amazing.
it's so ironic because I made up my mind
Yes.
to transcribe the workshop I taught
Yes.
so it could be a book. If you want to listen to the Intuitive Method, it's a podcast that's available everywhere. It's called the Intuitive Method, and there's 4 parts. So part 1 is a great place to start, but you can enjoy any one of them out of order, I'm sure. And I just started editing the transcript from the first session, which got me excited about it again. And whatever you're interested in or fascinated by, it tends to give off an energy where you'll either start becoming visited. Like if you all of a sudden get interested in I'm sure you experienced like a 1970 Corvette Stingray, all of a sudden you'll start seeing them seemingly everywhere on the road. It's just like when you buy a new car and you never saw any of that brand of car before, and now all of a sudden you're like, holy cow, I didn't realize how many of these existed before that. So I made up my mind to do this, and a made up mind, once you make up your mind, then doubts seem to come up. And that's a good sign because that means you really do believe in this thing. So I just have to keep dismissing the doubts, and the doubts were, yeah, but you're trying to do you're doing illustrations for the Great Seal book, and you're doing the Darrell and Ed podcast. I mean, isn't this too much? You're doing too many things at once. All this silly nonsense. It's all just doubt. Anytime those feel bad thoughts of talking us out of doing the thing we're fascinated in, it's just to be ignored. So I started editing it, and I just edit it simply. I printed out the sheets for the first session, and I brought them with me to my doctor's appointment. So when I was in the waiting room at the VA, it gave me something to do. Then I had some time here before the show. Just, did a few lines here and there. And then unbeknownst to me, I check my email right before the show, and a stranger emailed me about the Intuitive Method podcast.
Wow.
I sent it to Ed.
He said, your Intuitive Method podcast is awesome. I've only just started listening to it. But I wish I had discovered it years ago. You may prove to be the key to my holy grail artistically as well as genealogically. I really do hope to hear from you. That was from Steve.
Yeah. So I don't know who this person is yet, but I do have his email address. So I'll be thanking him for sending that. And it's so amazing how a made-up mind changes everything. And practice on silly things. The other day, I drove to my gym, and in the neighborhood where I park the car, there's street parking, and I'm driving down the street where the gym is, and there's no spaces. And before I started really cursing the parking situation, I said, no. We're just going to go around the block, see what's on the other street. And there was nothing on the other street. And my mind started to go again. I wanted to grumble. There's only one don't in metaphysics. Don't complain. That's what Emma Curtis Hopkins says.
Right.
There's only one don't in metaphysics. Don't complain. So I said, wait, we're doing a show on a made-up mind. Because this was yesterday this happened.
Right.
So I said, I'm going to make up my mind. There's going to be the perfect spot. And part of me wanted to say, well, I doubt anything. I go, no, like I doubt anything opened up since you just went around the block with green lights.
Right.
As soon as I get in front of the gym, a car just 2 spaces ahead of me as I'm driving pulls out and leaves. And I pulled right in and I go, this stuff is amazing.
Yep.
It really is amazing. And it always it always gets me enthusiastic about how well it works. I could have my indignation or my demonstration.
Yes. Wow. That's the key to it all, is recognizing we have a choice in, do we want our indignation or our demonstration? Because sometimes you can think that I've had things where I think that I don't have a choice, but that's just it's not possible. Every one of us has a choice. And sometimes if we're going into something new, we're practicing making choices in new ways. And, but it's worth it. It's worth whatever practice it takes, because when it clicks, it's just, everything really, really lines up. One morning I woke up and I've been on vacation or I've been on break and vacation from school, and I was like, all of a sudden it lined up. I could be going places. My friends are doing things. I could be going places. And I felt super enthusiastic. And then I woke up and the feeling started to kind of fade. But while I was meditating, my two friends were together up in the Bay Area. Two guys that I still play music with, and out of nowhere they called me. They haven't called me in a long time, and that very morning that I had that thought about them and thinking about who I could visit, and I told them, look, because at that point I was meditating, clearing up the cobwebs. I was kind of resisting the idea of travel. Like I was like, where'd it go? But I was like, this is too amazing. So I hung up, and then I meditated for a few minutes, and then my mind got the inspiration came back, and I was like, where are you guys going to be? And in the next, it turned out in 2 days' time, they were both going to be in my area. One was going to be back in San Diego, where he has a studio in his home to record music. The other guy was going to be in Orange County. So I just threw out the idea, and suddenly 2 days later, we were scheduled to meet up, my buddy, drive down to San Diego and record some music, which is what another thing that I have been writing down. It's time to start recording music. So all of this started to unfold, and it turned into an amazing journey. I drove from here, LA, to Orange County, which was like an hour. I met my friend Josh, who I've known for a long time, and he plays bass guitar and other kinds of instruments. And another friend of ours who went by Maloney, Jen Cousins is her name. And she, so we had lunch, we played some songs. I played some music for my dad. Then we drove down to San Diego, and in a very short time, learned one of my songs, recorded the song, played some other music, did all this stuff. Boom, boom, like you're saying, the amount of things that lined up so well was just mind-blowing. And when I knew it was time for me to record my vocals and my guitar part, I remembered in the past I would kind of make it too hard. And I had been talking to Darrell throughout that trip, and he kept going, just make it fun. Make sure you guys make it fun. And make sure you guys make it fun.
Yeah.
And it was really inspiring, because everyone we might have been uptight back in the day, but I think all of us have learned just got to keep it fun and simple. So that morning I've been reading Brown Landon. It looks like Landon. Brown is his first name. We read something from him recently, and he was a New Thought teacher. He knew Emma Curtis Hopkins, I think. He knew the Fillmores, and he was apparently the guy that if people were having issues with healing, like some of these other teachers, they would send him to him because he was so good at it. And he talks about idealizing the process, which is just thinking through what you want every step of the process to look like. Not making it hard work, but having fun, imagining whatever it is you're going to do, like you with the parking spot, or if you're thinking about, like in my case, I was thinking about that, recording that music that day. So I imagined it going well. I imagined it being easy. And it didn't take too long, but I just kind of, my mind was starting to tell me something else. So I visualized a very easygoing outcome. And it was incredible, because I played the guitar on the first take. The guy who in the past I would think might judge me was like, that sounds great to me. I think you nailed it. And I was like, wow. And then I did vocals and some whistling, and I just kept going, I'm going to let this be easy. I would record something, and I'd say, you guys listen to it. I'm not going to listen to it. I don't want my critical mind involved. Tell me if you want me to change something. And as a result, everything went so fast, so easy, so fun. And then on the way back to Tustin to drop my friend off, we visited Michael Schoonover at Unity Way in Vista,
who's been a guest on the show.
He's been Reverend Michael Schoonover. So I got to see him in his beautiful church and had a really inspired, healing chat with him. Then my dad had requested we play some doo-wop songs. his 2 favorite songs. And on the way back, Josh and I, my buddy and I, like practiced it. By the time we got there, we were like, didn't know how it was going to go because we've never been like played doo-wop before. But everyone was blown away. I was blown away at how easily that happened. I was singing in a way that I've never sung before. My buddy was harmonizing. My dad was singing along to. It was just so, everything, when I made that decision, that clear decision, this is what I'm going to do. It wasn't like there wasn't some resistant thoughts along the way, but I just kept going back to what was the decision? What was the inspired idea? What did I say yes to? And it just kept unfolding, one thing after another. And it's just amazing. It's just an amazing thing that happens.
Well, maybe there was no resistance on the outside because you were deleting the resistance on the inside.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, 100%.
Whereas before,
Yeah.
if you entertain these shit thoughts, you're going to get very touchy today.
Yeah, well, I am 6'2" almost.
He did get a lot of beatings. The exciting part is there's nothing on the outer that gets in the way
That's right.
of what it is we desire to do, ever. It's just what I start thinking is going to be roadblocks, or who I perceive as the judgment maker, and I turn them into my higher power.
Yeah.
Once I start doing that, I'm sunk. But as
Really sunk, yeah.
long as I just keep sticking to deleting those grumbling, doubtful thoughts, then miraculously, I am reassured by my continual experience of how everything turns out to seem like it's all in my favor. Like, how could this have happened? Like you said, how everything lined up.
Yeah.
And so many unexpected things. Plus, you also did a rare thing for Eddie B, which is detours.
Yes.
You allowed yourself to do these stops instead of just deadheading.
Oh, can I
it.
tell you something about that? Because you're pointing that out.
Miraculous.
Because there was actually I'm so glad I knew this show was going to be a very healing show for me, because I'm like letting go a lot of this stuff and really learning about the power of a made-up mind myself, as many of us are. And I noticed when I was down there, a lot of what, so sometimes when you step out boldly, like I've been doing, something that might have once felt kind of like a dull, bad feeling in the background, all of a sudden it comes to the foreground because you're releasing it, and it almost feels like it's gotten worse. It feels like it's almost getting worse in that moment, like, because now instead of me not knowing what that nagging feeling is, I'm like, wow. And so I noticed when I was down there, like this impulsive voice going like, I gotta get home, and then at some point I felt it, and I said to the guys, because something they said, can we re-record your parts in the morning? And then it just dawned on me, I don't have anywhere to be. And as soon as I said that, I felt like my insides let go. And it wasn't until I let go of the control that I actually felt the goodness of the experience, like I'm in this experience. Like before that, I was like still thinking there's a calculating part going on, like you said. But once I opened up to the detours, then that's when God has the free play and starts co-planning the trip with you, with me, and everything. I texted Schoonover in the morning, and we were like 50 minutes away from his house, and I never heard from him, but I just put it in my map, and I said, even if I don't see him, I'm gonna stop by and see the grounds. Sure enough, 7 minutes before we got there, he's like, are you guys coming, or did you already pass? And I was like, we're 7 minutes away, man. And so it's like, it is the only way to experience that we're not alone, that there's a guiding force. We had to surrender to not being fully in control of everything, which is an amazing feeling when we do it. And there you might find like the old voices waving, go back, like that. But it's so worth it to just keep going forward, keep blessing, like you said, doing the inner work to keep releasing. Because I used to let other people make up my mind for me in certain ways, and I missed out on a lot of living as a result in the past of because of that. And it started to scare me this time because I've been the fear started coming back to the surface as I stepped out boldly, like, whoa, like letting go of all of those old stories and letting, so it's been a process of really like letting go and then always coming back to right now. I make the decision to be well right now. I make the decision to be whole right now. I make the decision that right now I can do what it is I desire to do because God always says now.
Well, here's the thing. I don't want listeners to think we're saying a made-up mind means I am going to make this happen.
Right.
A made-up mind means I am agreeing with this desire I have.
Yes.
And I'm not going to listen to, it's going to be too much work. Yes. I'm doing other things. These are the voices that come up for me recently. I'm going to ignore those voices. I'm making up my mind that I'm going to do this. And it's going to be fun. And I don't know how it's going to come about, but it's going to be fun and easy. And I'm not going to make it difficult, which means I'm not going to try to control it to be done by a certain time.
Yeah.
I could put as part of my goal setting, I'd like to see this done. And you got to give yourself a reasonable amount of time, in 3 months or 6 months, whatever it is. It could be 2 weeks if it's something simple, like fixing something in your yard you've been putting off. But once you make up your mind, and first of all, I will tell you this. The first thing, once you make up your mind, is you're going to feel a good feeling because you're agreeing with what is already for you.
Right.
What you're already capable of doing and what would bring you great joy. And what brings us great joy brings the world great joy.
Yes, that's right.
Upset people upset the world. Right. And happy people bring joy to the world.
Right.
And when we're working toward our desire, and desire is synonymous with destiny, or even if you want to believe in fate, you could say, okay, well, then am I agreeing with the best of my life or am I not? Am I making self-fulfilling choices or am I making self-destructive choices?
Yeah.
So once the mind is made up, you get that joyful inclination. Well, then just let that joyful inclination have its way with you for a little while. Because just like when I said, I'm going to make up my mind, I'm not going to say there's no more spaces. I'm not going to say this, that, or grumble. I'm going to believe there's going to be a space and it's going to be perfect. And I didn't say it has to be this way by this time or in this specific spot. And sure enough, it always turns out to be better than expected. Why? Is it a premonition? We talked about this on the last episode. Are these good desires premonitions, or are they something we desire? Well, all these spiritual teachers tell us they're actually more of a premonition, that the desire is actually something that's already been for you. However, we have to just do the little bit of the footwork to bring it about.
Can I just throw one in?
This
I want
goes
to hear
with what you were saying about the pain coming up.
You'll probably, So I just want to say, I got to say, this guy right here he lives it, and it's like lately he's been a godsend to me. It's good to have friends that live it, because there are times, like, all we're really trying to do, Eric Butterworth said this, is remember who we are.
Yes.
We're not making a new person. We're just I'm just like a child realizing that all along I can be myself. Or kind of like when I make choices now, it unravels the pain of the past, because I realize all along God was there with me, encouraging me to be myself. And so there's a lot of healing that occurs. I was going to say, when we let go of the control in small ways, and then God opens it up to us, there's something so healing in that, and it reconnects us to ourselves. And there was a couple times, because I'm walking this line lately of like, I don't want to be digging into what's going on within me when there's junk coming up, but I also don't want to be terrified and like pushing it down.
Right.
So like a couple times, I thought it would be great to talk to this person I'm with about this. And one part of me is going, I got to talk to him now. And I said, it didn't quite feel right. And because one part of me is wanting to talk about it and believing that there's no way this person's going to relate kind of at the same time. It's just like this weird energy of like pushing and pulling. I felt so in a couple times recently, I put it aside for a moment, let go of talking to someone about it and just trusted for a moment. And then out of nowhere, that same person starts talking about that very thing with me. And it turns out we have this thing in common. It is just so mind-blowing to find out that we have so much more in common with one another than we really...
Yes.
And a lot of times, like Reverend Ike calls it false faces. My false face gets tangled up with someone else's false face, and then we both think that we're those false faces. And then we write stories about how the world is false and we're not welcome here, blah, blah, blah. But it's all false. So this is about coming back to the truth, and it's real. And when we turn it over to God and turn it over to the good, we get evidence. It's amazing.
Yes, we always get evidence. This is what you were saying about when we step out boldly. I can't believe I just read this morning. I'm going to read it to everyone. And this is from Scientific Christian Mental Practice by Emma Curtis Hopkins. It's an oldie but goodie. It's over 100 years old. But
I think well over, huh?
It's so good because listen to this. And this is talking about, you know, we have a desire and we make up our mind to go with it, you know, to accept it. I'll read something else real quick, but she lets us know that this is normal and a good sign when these doubts come up as we're taking each step. You know, Krista's going to come on, and an artist goes through this line by line in a painting. As we're painting, your intuition will tell you, just do this. But your reasoning mind, from everything you've known up until that point, says, well, that's unfamiliar. That might ruin this painting. I don't know. But I have made myself, through experience, go with that. Go with that silly, unreasonable idea. In spite of, oh, this might ruin the painting. No, you got to go with it, man, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to be blown away. But the thing you're going to be blown away by most is how you feel when you do it. Not only are you rewarded by the surprise of your ability and the pleasant surprise of your ability by just going for it with that next indicated action as it comes up, but you're also going to feel so much. I can't even describe the feeling, because it's not, if you want to call it self-confidence, well, then it's confidence or faith in self with a capital S, the higher part of me. And that's when you really feel like you're a playmate with God. So in this book, she says, I'm going to get right to the thing. Okay. This science deals with the doubt that the good is working to prove itself quickly in our behalf. So that's we're doubting, is this for real? Like I'm going with this, but then we start doubting, oh, maybe we shouldn't, or maybe this is silly. This doubt has a rushing and overturning action in us. You all know what it is to fear that you are not going to have things come out your own good way. This is doubt. Now, here's the thing. It shows that either consciously or unconsciously, you have been taking some high thoughts of God. So it's a good sign, because it means you're starting to move in the direction of your good. You know, likely you have thought of God from a much higher standpoint than your minister or preacher or anyone who ever spoke to you. It was so much higher than the world that when the trial came, you could not reconcile the conditions with that great goodness of God, which you felt to be true. So you doubted that good was cutting out the pattern of your circumstances to please your heart. Here is where you are to remember your highest thought of God or good which you have ever held. Hold it firmly. If need be, you may speak over your truth rapidly and constantly so as not to let any other idea be spoken by you, even in thought. And that just means these silly, I like using lighthearted affirmations in those times, like, nope, everything's in divine order. I'll have the perfect spot in the perfect way. Like little things like that. All these are is acts of faith to eliminate the doubt. But if we're having these doubts bombard us as we're proceeding towards what we thought was going to be the best thing that could possibly be for us, now look, we should be saying, wow, I started moving toward my good, and now I got evidence that I'm really on the right track.
Yes.
Because I'm having all these doubts about it.
Right.
And in his book, The War of Art, Stephen Pressfield even says, you'll know when you're going in the direction of your greatest good when you're writing or doing an artwork, because that's when the resistance gets the loudest. And there's a great thing that I read, a quote years ago. Everything you desire is on the other side of fear. Mm-hmm. So we're saying, if these come up, and you could think of it like Emmett Fox puts it, it's the devil's last ditch. It means things are really about to click. Don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle.
Wow, you're so right. That was medicine for me. Yeah, we had a show called this, but I don't even think we read it, about What Are You Saying to Yourself by Eric Butterworth. And he says, the person who forms the habit of rejecting the they say evidence of the world and who keeps telling himself things that are constructive has solved one of the greatest riddles of life. When tempted to slip into the slough of despond, tell yourself, stop that. You are a radiant, all-wise, all-loving, all-conquering child of God. Don't worry about what others say or what appearances seem to be. What are you saying to yourself? And that is what I noticed, like, one of the things that lately, I think, like, because of the high truth that I came upon, and that has, like, I started saying on the show, like, if this stuff isn't healing, then we're not really applying it. I could see it, and a lot of stuff was unraveling for me, and that's what brought up this other stuff where I was holding on maybe a little tighter. And it's just like she said, because all of a sudden, instead of feeling like, wow, I'm so glad I know this stuff because I'm seeing the way other people are talking about limiting things and the results they're getting, all of a sudden the mind's like, how could I be the only one who knows this? Like, how could I think God is this good? How dare you? How dare? And like, I started feeling tempted to water it down and just like second guess all of it. And then, so my mind started to be less made up about it, which is fine, because we always got to just go easy on ourselves, because easy on ourselves is what relaxes the tension that allows our right mind to return. And I am following my sword as a lifelong digger, a heartaholic, as our friend Ann Sermon Gillis called it, I think.
Yeah, a heartaholic.
I am a recovering heartaholic, and if you're there with me in terms of habits of overthinking, making things hard, second guessing your good, the God in you. You're not alone. We're all moving through this together, but it is very, very good thing that we're on the, whatever's coming up is a very, very good thing. It's on the way out. The good is on the way in always.
Then before we go to the break, to dismiss some more of that, how dare you think that, well, how dare you think God's going to give you a parking space? It has nothing to do with this old man in the sky who's treating me more favorably than anybody else.
Right.
It all has to do with our mental equivalent and approaching life with a sense of joy and trust, or self-will and force. And we're saying surrender to it. and to get rid of the how dare yous on a recent Reverend Ike, which we got the title, the show was inspired by, he said, a made-up mind is the power of God in you.
Yes.
And then Emma Curtis Hopkins, he also went on to say, everyone talks about the second coming of Jesus. And he says, you are the second coming of Jesus.
That's right.
You are here to express Jesus on earth and do all the things that he has done in a joyful manner, and being and doing and having the things you desire to do. And then she even says, this is all on the same page, Jesus Christ said it would, by applying these principles that he taught, Jesus said it would give you the power to preach the gospel, which is share this good news with others by our example, heal the sick, cast out bad tempers, even within our own minds, especially within our own minds, and raise the dead. Every time the waters of opposition flowed over us, we stand firm and the good comes into sight.
Wow. And I found this bookmark. It's called a book called Words of Truth for Realizing Peace of Mind and Health of Body by Fanny James. Is like original,
Yeah,
Unity.
one of those old class.
Yeah. And I just found this one paragraph that she has a quote at the beginning. I was wondering if I could find the year on that.
These were for reference only,
I know,
and they
from
tossed
the
them.
Unity School Library at Unity Village. But there's a quote from someone here. It says, a corresponding revolution in things will attend the influx of the Spirit. So once the Spirit flows back into us, where we stop resisting, so fast will disagreeable appearances vanish. They are temporary and shall be no more seen.
Perfect time to get excited for our upcoming guest.
Let's thank our chief engineer
Oh, yes.
out there in Kansas City, Kansas.
Jeff Comfort.
Each week,
He takes us
right into the comfort zone. And we got a 3 breaths mantra from one of our favorite Beatles.
Yeah.
And let's take a deep breath to clear our mind. I got my mind set on good. I got my mind set on good.
I got my mind set on good. I got my mind set on good.
I got my mind set on good. I got my mind set on good. All right. We got our mind set on good, and we're going to have a good time with artist Krista Machovina. She's coming up. She's going to join the show, share how everything and everyone is on our side when our mind is made up. That's 100% true also. When we make up our mind to let go of any kind of judgment, we free ourselves. We free ourselves from the illusion. Darrell mentioned something about this earlier, that anyone has any power over us or would even want it.
Yeah.
And once we realize that, everything becomes a lot more enjoyable, a lot funnier. Today's reading is Stop Trying and Trust. Thank you for listening to Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed, live from Middle School Studios, beautiful downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
And now Krista could turn on her mic and the camera.
Yes.
All right. I changed the position of
Wow.
That
That
better?
is,
That
yeah.
looks
She's a new woman, folks. Hold on. Turn my other light.
All right. Are you going to use a banjo or no?
I'm good.
I'm going to do a quickie.
All right. We'll get started with our second segment in just a moment. We got a great story about Krista Machovina.
Oh, you do?
End it. Teaching art to some of my students.
Oh, that was fun.
Oh man, that was real fun.
I enjoyed it.
Me too. I think I got at least as much out of it as my students, for sure.
Well, it was so much fun. And well, what was crazy about the way this episode came together, which we can share, is how I told you what my students said to me when we were talking about when you sent me the request to do this.
Oh
About
man.
time kind of
Oh yes.
going super fast.
Yes.
That's like one of the signs you're on track. You're
Right. Oh yeah, we got to share that when we get back here. Hope everyone out there in YouTube land is having fun. I'm gonna give a shout out here. All right. After this, I will take a nap.
Sounds good.
Yes. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Right back.
Okay. All right. This is the song I recorded, just a rough mix.
Just a sweet and mellow love song about driving beneath the desert sun, where the cactus grows and the rabbits run. So bless the heat and have some fun. Before you know it, the ride's already done. Simple little hummer about being who you are. In the dark night sky, see a shooting star. A little magic to flicker on your path. Lay your troubles down and enjoy a little laugh. A sweet and mellow love song about driving beneath the desert sun, where the cactus blooms and the rabbits run. So bless the heat and have some fun. Before you know it, the ride's already done.
Perfect timing. All right. Let's go.
What
You
did it
ready?
say? Set up professional.
Oh yeah, just because I was playing the song on the microphone, it said like it recognized music being played.
Okay.
That was a good little interlude.
All right. Now we're time. Are
All
you gonna
right.
bring us in? That
All
was like
right.
having the band play. Because have you ever been to the Tonight Show
I've been to one of those shows.
or David
Yes.
Letterman?
Yeah.
Whenever you go, when there's a commercial break,
Mm-hmm.
the band plays for the audience. So that's what that was like.
Yeah, totally. That was great. All right, welcome back, everyone, to the power of a made-up mind. We have artist Krista Machovina with us today. How are you today, Krista?
Good. It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. And yeah, you've been tuning in. You started on the break talking about how when we first asked you to do the show, there was already a bit of a wink from the universe involved.
Well, yeah, because originally you were talking about kind of like flow and how time expands and contracts depending upon if you're like lined up with the way things should go. And I had just finished a workshop with the cancer support group survivors that I lead, and one of the women goes, "I can't believe an hour and a half already went by. It feels like it was just a half an hour." And that's kind of what happens like when you are doing what you're meant to be doing, just like you were talking about in the first half of the show. When you've made up your mind, you've said yes, and you're going with it, like it's like time expands to do what you need to do, but contracts because it feels like just went quickly. There's like
Yeah.
time magic that happens when
Yes.
even if it's not how you think it should go or where it should go. It just, yeah, I love watching what happens when you're in that flow.
Well, do you know how there's two ways that Einstein shared the theory of relativity regarding time as an illusion, although be it a very persistent one? And what he said was, one of them, he says, a minute, an hour with a beautiful woman may seem like a minute, and a minute sitting on a tack will seem like an hour. And then for a quickie, time is relative to which side of the bathroom door you're on. Meaning, if someone's in there and you got to go, it seems like it takes forever. But if you're in there, it's no stress at all. There's a reading that came the very next day after because the title, folks, was originally going to be Time is on Your Side. And the very next day, to go along with what Krista said, this is from Alan Cohen. It's a book we recommend, A Deep Breath of Life. And it's saying exactly what you just said. Right mind, right time. Miracles wait not on time. That's a Course in Miracles quote. Miracles wait not on time. Meaning once we consciously accept an idea or make up our mind, then time seems to cooperate. And he gives a great example here. He says, we can extrapolate that principle to all of life. If you are in a hurry, you are in the wrong consciousness. Hurry is usually motivated by fear and anxiety. We worry that we will be late or not have enough time to do what we need to do. Rushing is a symptom of lack thinking, indicating we believe in not enoughness. The principle of abundance applies not only to money or things, it applies equally to time. If you know you live in an abundant universe, you trust that you have enough time to do what you need to do. And he says this, when we are in the consciousness of peace, time becomes elastic. It will expand or contract to accommodate our purpose. One Saturday morning, I arrived at the post office to mail a package 10 minutes before the noon closing time. When I reached the window, the clerk informed me that I had not sealed the box properly and that I would have to buy some tape. I decided, he made up his mind, I will not rush. And if Spirit wanted the package mailed, it would have to create time for it. I drove to a shopping center 2 blocks away, found the tape in the back of a department store, grabbed a package of laundry detergent on sale, paid for the items, and drove back to the post office, all at a relaxed pace. And that's what I mean by don't try, trust. I arrived at 2 minutes to noon. Physically, what I accomplished seemed impossible, yet it had all gotten done in that time. The choice for peace creates miracles.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah, that just sums it up. I've come to the point in my life where I'm really rarely worried about being on time or late. There's some things that might be life or death, but I'm not a surgeon. I'm not working in the ER. I think we get to where we need to be and it's okay. And when I show up or if someone's running late and I extend them that grace, then they feel good. And if I'm giving myself that grace, then it feels better. And yeah, and things work out. Maybe you're showing up at the right time to meet a certain person that you otherwise wouldn't have, just like you were talking about like down in Tustin.
Yeah.
I love watching those little miracles unfold when we relax about it. And who likes being rushed? I mean, I've been rushed trying to catch an airplane, and I'm like, stressed about it. But really, there's nothing serious going on here.
Yeah.
So that's made things a lot more fun as well.
There's also a great Emmett Fox reading called Why Rush? Why Hurry?
Yeah.
And he gives the example after telling all this sharing what we're sharing in his own way, he finally wraps it up by saying, what are we all rushing to ultimately? The same place, the grave. So why hurry? Because he's saying, you got to think, like, and he even gives a little in there, like says, and those people who continue to rush do get there faster to the grave because of the anxiety. And it really is true. Why rush at all?
Well, my mom always says haste makes waste, meaning like if you're rushing about, chances are, at least in my case, like I would like break something or fall or be chaotic, have a car accident. And we always tell the story of how when her mother, my grandmother, had a stroke, mom was rushing to get out there. Obviously, this was serious, and she wanted to go out to support my grandmother, and she was worried about her, understandably. So she goes up into the attic. She's all chaotic and frenzy. She's going down those fold down stairs that are from like a drop ceiling kind of attic.
Yeah.
She did that to get her suitcase, ends up falling down those steps and like destroying her kneecap. She wasn't even able to go, and so that's a very extreme example. My grandmother ended up, not, sticking around a little bit longer than that. So it all worked out. But like rushing about with anxiety doesn't allow you to see the miracles along the way or the good treasures you want to pick up because you're just so focused on what you think should be happening. Like I recently found out I was able to renew my art therapy certificate. This is something I let go a long time ago, and it just came up. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure. All right. If all the ways were made easy for me to do this. I'm like, well, I'm not really acting as an art therapist right now, but okay. It was like one of those things on the side of the road that you pick up. You're like, I don't know when I'm going to use this, but I'll put it in my bag. And when you have this idea of just making up your mind to go with that and say yes, all of these other little good things start coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be an art therapist. I'm studying for the board exam because they're going to let me do it for free. That's when the good stuff happens. You make up your mind to go with it and trust and think that the outcome could be better than what you think. But if you're haste makes waste. Oh, yeah.
The fact that your grandma did stay around longer even shows more about that story about, because that's how it is. We think the rushing seems like it's justified, and it always
never
turns out
justified.
to be unjustified.
Never. So everything has a way of working out, even if it looks pretty dire.
Do you want to read that great reading?
Sure. All right, from Joyce Kramer.
Yes.
Joyce Kramer.
All right. Thank you guys for sending this along because it was good for me today. My thoughts and feelings draw to me abundant good. Thank you, God. If you would like to be prosperous, begin to think thoughts of prosperity. Create mental images of yourself as being prosperous in every area of life. True prosperity includes health, harmony, love, and all good, as well as wealth. Many want prosperity, yet continue to make such negative statements as, I never seem to get ahead. What chance do I have at my age? The world is certainly in a mess. If you desire prosperity, you must eliminate negative words from your vocabulary. You must release all thoughts and feelings of unworthiness and limitation. Our first step toward living a truly prosperous life is a conscious awareness of God. We must recognize the divine presence within and know that God is all powerful. By keeping our thoughts and feelings in perfect attunement with God, we open the way for abundance in every form. Knowing that prosperity can be a powerful blessing, let us begin to receive what is rightly ours. Then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. Joshua 1:8.
Wow.
That's a good one, guys. Thanks for sending that.
The releasing of thoughts of feelings of unworthiness and limitation is that's the one where it's got to be like childlike, wee, because the thoughts are telling that I've probably listened to before. If I haven't really spent a lot of time listening to them, it's easy. If there's something that maybe is coming from, a little bit of more of a place where I'm used to holding on, You really got to be like a child and be like, "Wee, I'm letting go. I know. I'm going to trust my guidance. I'm not, like, because they'll come up. Those voices come up with rational, seemingly rational, but it feels so bad. It just feels so bad. That's the thing that lets you know that if it feels that bad, it's too bad. It feels too bad to be true. Kind of living by that philosophy. This just my wife said. It feels too bad to be true, and just keep letting go because it won't take long before the truth will start to bubble up in our minds. And once we're on that beam, it's so easy. It's so easy. That's why making up the mind is so much fun and so important.
Or you could just, like I'm in the habit, which I've been for a long time, is I'll say, no, Darrell, stop it. And it works. Because I don't want to, as soon as I start going, no, I don't want that. No, stop it. Yeah. And then once I do that, the mind has nowhere else to go but up. And then it'll start going to, yeah, you're right. This, and this can happen. Anything good can happen. But I got to say, no, just like when I was saying about the parking spot, no, I'm not going to think that way. And then my mind goes, you're right. There can be a space. And if it starts to complain again, do I want my indignation or do I want a demonstration? What would I rather talk about later with my friends? Would I rather complain with them later and tell them about this terrible thing, which I have the habit of doing? Or do I really want to have fun and have a demonstration that I can talk about?
That's really good.
No, it's so much more fun. That is what your show is about. It's called The Funniest Thing. It's all about noticing and falling like Mr. Magoo into something good. And it's, for me, I have to not get stuck on my outcome and what I want to have happen, and know that if I take a little side mission or whatever, that it's probably going to lead me to something better. Like I'm just going to be a painter and I'm going to be successful at it and it's going to pay all my bills. Maybe Krista, you might have more fun being a writer, or you might have more fun being
right.
Or maybe you might even be a therapist again somehow. Who knows?
It might be in a different manner. Maybe you're going to be, maybe you need that to be a consultant on a Netflix TV show about artists that are therapists getting paid very handsomely. So we don't know, but we got to just go with it.
Yes.
And be chilled out enough to notice when the good things start coming, instead of being, have our blinders on and not, be looking around and seeing all these other special things along the way. They're just laying there glowing on the side of the road like some, video game special jewel tool to pick up.
Right.
No, I'm not really sticking to the readings. I rely on you guys for that.
Well, making up our mind is agreeing with the good that we already have in store for us, and being flexible. You can't be rigid. You got to be flexible. You can be open-minded and flexible, but you can't be limiting. Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Don't start thinking, well, Darrell and Ed said, I don't really have to go in the direction of what I really want to do. If the thing that's coming up is saying, I don't know, maybe you should just stay still and do this boring thing instead. That's really not what we're saying. We're saying if things come up like a detour that goes, hey, check this out too, go with it.
Yeah.
Because you've already made up your mind. Now, after the mind is made up and you feel that joy of accepting your greater good, then it's all about being flexible along the way to these other unexpected, delightful nudges that come up, or an invitation to go do something you don't think you would have normally done or seems out of the wheelhouse, but it came up and there's like an inkling, like there might be something fun in this for me.
Right.
Then we say, go for it. Because that's when you'll meet somebody unexpectedly that's going to be a golden link in the chain of your good, or something's going to happen there, or you're going to get an inspired idea that contributes to what you've made up your mind to do.
Yes.
So that's what we're saying. We're saying have a made up mind to agree with your heart's desire, and then Let God have free play in your life.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, like that prayer, and I don't know what new thought teacher put it out there, if it's Lawrence Scovel Shinn or probably Catherine Ponder, but the idea of the prayer of this or something better.
Yeah, Florence Scovel Shinn.
Yeah, know what you want, but then be open to better. And
That's right.
That's one of the things I'm really leaning into now. Like, I know what I want, but if it comes to me in a better form, shape, package, or identity, cool. All right, bring it on. And I'm
Right.
really surprised at how that happened.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Well, are we ready for our story?
Oh boy.
I think so.
Krista, you might remember this. This was back when you were an art therapist. Was this, Ed? I don't recall.
It was when she was working with my summer school class, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes. I just wanted to throw in that when we do get excited and make up our mind, have faith, because when you're outside of that zone, you start to think of yourself as small, and you don't even realize how much you forget how much you know. By making up your mind to flick back on the switch, all the stuff you already know and love starts to flow forward in new ways. And because you're trusting it, like I was able to do so much more with these guys collaborating with music. I was able to share ideas about harmonies and stuff with these guys. And even though I didn't have the exact like technical language, I was like, I like this and I think about this. What do you think? And then the guy who I used to think would only want to hear the tech, he goes, I know exactly what you're saying. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Thank you. And they went off and did it. So when you have inspired ideas and you get excited, you don't need to justify them. You don't need the credentials. You just got to follow the inspiration, and you'll end up inspiring the people that have the credentials, the people who have the technical, whatever you need. There's nothing more inspiring than someone who has their own inspired ideas and is sharing them.
You don't need to know that crap.
That's
you know,
right.
Paul McCartney still can't read music.
That's right.
Glenn Campbell couldn't read music.
Yeah.
And these guys, and they wrote some of the greatest songs.
Yeah, so whatever the rationalizations are, it has no power over you once you make the decision to follow the inspired idea. All of that, I mean, it's amazing. You already know way more than you think you do. So, back to the story. So, Krista was teaching art to some of Ed's students during summer school last year. One student came up at the end of the lesson, handed in a blank piece of paper. Krista said,
"What's this?"
Student said,
"A picture of a cow eating grass."
Krista asked,
"Where's the grass?"
and the student
"The
replied.
cow ate it all."
Krista asked.
"Okay, then where's the cow?"
The student smiled.
"It left because there was no more grass." That's a brilliant artist. I want to be more like him.
Yes, right? That's right. That's right. Well, we want to thank you, artist Krista Machovina, for joining us on today's show. We want to thank you all for being a part of Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed. Please subscribe, share the show with your friends. If you're watching it on a podcast app, review it, give it 5 stars or whatever many stars you think it's earned.
And you know what? When your mind is set or made up on good, do you know what?
It doesn't take time. Whole lot of precious time. It doesn't take precious time to do it, 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 to do it right. I got my mind set on good. 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 Woohoo! All right, everyone.
We'll see you soon,
Bye,
Krista.
everyone.
I can't wait.
Yes. Bye, Krista. Have a great night.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Have a great
I'm so
weekend.
excited to discover what wonderful thing is going to come out of this unexpected
Yes.
art therapy recertification.
It's crazy. I mean, the way it all became easy, even getting the books to study. I mean, and then the board, I don't know. And again, I would never be a therapist because it burned me out, but we'll see.
Well, I have a funny feeling it's going to be something totally out of the wheelhouse of what you experienced before.
Yes.
And something crazy like working on a show as a consultant, that some Netflix series where one of the people is an art therapist. So you have to be the consultant on the show and get very well compensated to have fun doing something new and creative.
Yes.
Who knows?
I like this. This sounds fun.
I love that too. It's very inspiring.
Yes.
Very inspiring.
Stay tuned.